What up, YouTube? Serving more heat than a Sega Genesis on carpet? It's your boys, Detroit Love, P-Dubs Arcade Love, Michael B. the Game Genie, and Nostalgia with another episode of the Super Game Room Dudes Friday Night Just Got Live.
Oh my goodness. Hey Carl, how are you? And I gotta tell you something, man. Hang on. I gotta do something here. We already have a guest waiting backstage as well. So we're gonna bring him on in just a second. What's funny is this guest messaged me and he goes, I got secret information. And I was like, well, what is it? He goes, I can only deliver the news directly.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So this guest wants to deliver the news directly to our audience. So we're gonna do that here in just a minute. Michael B's over on Glenn's channel. I think Mike forgot we have a show tonight, but he'll be here in a minute. The first 15 minutes are usually us just shooting the shit anyway. Nostalgia's running a couple minutes late, guys. He's also going to pop in a little bit late as well. You know, it's really hard doing shows in the summer. I don't think you guys realize because we're so busy. And and also too, you're on your summer break. Like you don't do much YouTube stuff this time of year.
No,
And
not at all.
yeah, and you'll usually once fall winter hits, Carl's cranking out videos left and right, but right now he's just kind of relaxing.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the summer, man. Last week I was in Florida visiting my mom and sister. That was a fantastic time. I just was able to just shut off from everything. Didn't have to worry about work, family, husband, no duties. Just got to chill with them. So that was fantastic. Y'all got to take some time to do that. Just get away. And didn't worry about going. They're right in the heart of Disney. I wasn't worried about going to any parks or theme parks or nothing. Just hung out with them all week and had a great time. So it was fun.
Yep. Good friend of the channel, Mystery Encoder, also a fellow Arizonian. This summer is when Dubs and I stay inside more. That is absolutely true. Summer is our winter. We stay inside. We don't go outside much.
Yeah, that's horrible. I couldn't live like that. Summertime, I got to be outside.
Yeah, but keep in mind, our winter, it's like 70, 80 degrees here. Like, we're outside all the time.
Yeah. If one day I'll move away, but I'll still keep a place here so I can come back here for the summers. I'll hang out wherever you guys live for the winters.
Well, we're waiting for the Canadians to show up. It's nice to see that the world's largest fan of multicades is here to join us this evening. That's right, guys. Multicade Mindeman, the home arcade sleuth, is here tonight. Paul, welcome. How are you, man?
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You know, considering your love of multicades, I'm really shocked to see that you've been pushing the iconic arcade agenda lately. What's going on with that?
I mean, they're multicades, right?
Well, they do have more than one game on them, so I guess that kind of fits. All right. Very, very good. So you have some secret information, which we'll dive in soon. How's your week been?
No, it's good. Oh, it's been busy. You know, we heard that August might have some information, and here it is. Information. It's just coming every day, every night. So it's good.
And also, you've had your ear to the ground, and you've gathered a lot of this information, and you do a good job on Reddit of like summarizing this information for people. But you actually have for us tonight brand new information. So even though you were, I think maybe on a stream this week, the information you share tonight is going to be new information.
It will be new. And just to clarify, the only reason I didn't share it directly with anybody else is because I haven't done that with any other stream either. I don't give them the information, let them promote it. I prefer to stay agnostic. So if I do it myself, I can go on any channel and not show a bias or a preference. So there you go.
Well, look, if you just want to give the information to us, that's fine. You know, like, I mean, we are the OGs. Ain't that right, Carl? How long have we been doing this, man?
Too long.
You know?
Longer than my beard.
We're two stand-up guys. I mean, before, we've been doing this so long. When we started, Carl and I had a full head of hair. Both of us.
Full head of hair and no beard.
Look at us now. Look at us now.
It's rough. It's rough. I actually gave the information to Nostalgia, and he told me to shove it. So I came here anyway.
Oh, Nostalgia.
I'm waiting for P-Dub just to embrace the baldness. You know, you just got to just go over. You just dive over the cliff.
I did. This is like a week old. It's growing back. You know what's left. You know,
you gotta get electric.
but I was all the way down to the skin the other day earlier. What's up, Mike?
It doesn't show on camera. It looks like you could have just shaved like yesterday. It's like it's buzz. Yeah.
No, that's about a week of growth right there. It's you know, so I got something still, but
I think it's good. I was pro that move. I think that was a good move.
Yeah.
I can confirm P-Dub's hair does grow back that quickly. I've seen another of him shaved, and in about a week it came back to that amount too.
Oh.
What up, Michael B?
What's happening, man?
Mike, glad to see you decided to join us. You were over on the dark side of the force. You were over on Glenn's channel.
I was happy he invited me. You know, it's been so long since he's invited me on a show.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have been trying to help him find some distributors to get his products in Canada, his arcade machines. So
Yeah. He was talking to me Monday, and he's like, I shouldn't tell you this, but if we can get 50 sold, and I knew that was going to be an uphill battle. And then Buy Stuff jumped in, and they were like, just ship them to us. So I'm trying to make that work now.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy Stuff will write a big check and get those machines. So. Hey, Buy Stuff. I'm working on some very cool arcade keychains, and I have about 1 million units to ship to Canada of arcade keychains. You want to write a guy a check? Let me know. Just hit me up. But yeah, so Paul's got some new information. We're going to be talking this week. A lot of iconic arcade information came out. We'll be talking about that. G.I. Joe BuildChoice, the new Walkabout Golf Course, AtGames new Pinball, which is also new pinball that's on VR and Steam. Basically, it's Zen Studios' new pinball, but it's on every platform. So we got a number of topics to talk about. Nostalgia, good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream.
See that Paul was taking my spot. I couldn't have that happen for much longer. So,
you know, one of my favorite things about our broadcast is every Friday night, you two going back and forth in the live chat. We're trying to get Nostalgia's attention to add value to the show. And instead of paying attention to us, he's too busy messing around with you in the live chat. What's up with that?
This was my single play to get him ousted from the four, and it didn't work. So I'm pretty disappointed.
Paul's the guest. Let's put him in the middle. Sorry, Mike. You go back on the bottom.
Right next to Nostalgia. Look at the love. Look at the love.
Oh, so cute. So cute.
Paul is one of my favorite YouTube commenters. He gets so animated, especially if you're saying something he disagrees with.
Justin's here. Good to see Console Kits in the live chat, guys. Justin, I miss you on YouTube, man. You gotta come back and make an appearance, dude. Whether you like Console Kits or not, he's a pretty damn good podcaster. So you know he's a good guy just to sit around and have a conversation with. So, but yeah, we're gonna say hi to the chat here. We got all these topics. Nostalgia, why are you late? Michael B has a good excuse. What's your excuse?
I was just taking a big dump. Is that a good enough excuse for you, P-Dubs?
Totally fine.
It's the same one you use every week.
But let's not waste 20 minutes talking about your bowel movements like we did.
I would
2 weeks ago.
imagine. I would imagine that a good reenactment of Nostalgia taking a dump is the Bonanza changing into the Bonanza in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Now, tonight we're going to have a pretty positive and hopefully logical discussion about the world of home arcades, especially when we talk about iconic arcades. Some of the information, here's a teaser to make you keep your butts on your couch right now. Some of the information that Paul's going to give tonight actually relates to one of their competitors that he found out about recently called Unico. So we might have some exclusive news to drop tonight regarding what's going on with Unico. So tonight, gentlemen, we are going to be mature. We are going to be professional. We are going to be non-biased. We are going to be completely logical and rational. There will be nothing to derail this show.
Look here, P-Dubs. We really need you to tone it down here, all right? This is a...
All right. I'm sorry. That was Officer Dubs. He wants me to tone it down before we get too hot into it. What's up, Nostalgia? You got an angry look on your face.
I'm just confused where your hat is.
My hat?
Different. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to embrace it. You know what I mean? I'm trying.
Well, what is it? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What is it that we are trying to embrace, or you're trying to embrace?
The fact that I'm losing all my hair. Is that okay with you?
That's not what I thought you were going to say. Interesting. So you're losing your hair. Tell us more.
Dubs is going to star in a new movie called Indiana Jones and the Ravages of Time.
Oh, so this is going to be Rip on Dubs Hour?
No, I just wanted to know what's wrong with you. You just look different. That's all.
I took my anxiety medication before we went live. I said my prayers. I ate my vitamins. I watched the new Hulk Hogan documentary on Hulu. Like I've been trying to just be calm. I want to be calm tonight, and you guys are trying to trigger me already, and that's not cool. Carl, unacceptable behavior. Am I right?
Oh, no, it's going to end up with some sand in the badge.
Guys, just look at Carl. Look at Carl. He's smiling. He's happy, but you can see it. There's pain in those eyes.
deep into his soul. Deep into his soul. And you know what? And I'll be honest, ever since I took the hat off and people have finally seen my head after wearing my hat for 5 years, mostly the positive feedback from the community has been they're embracing the baldness with me. They're saying I don't have, what do you call it? A weird shaped skull. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like some people can't do bald because they have like something going on with their skull. You know what I mean? Mike, I swear to God, you wear a toupee because that hair hasn't moved in 5 years.
My hair is so thick, man. You have no idea. It's so thick, so coarse. It's like a mop. I think that you're doing this wrong, though. Like you bicked the whole head. You got the perfect opportunity. Go for the skullet.
Yeah, because I still got the sides.
I see it.
That's right.
Should I just grow it out, guys, to the shoulders? Just do the skullet? Should I do that? Yeah. You guys suck. You know how much time we're wasting.
Not enough.
I want to point out, and Paul, let me know if you agree with me. This broadcast was going great until the Canadians arrived. Am I wrong, guys, in the chat? Like, Paul, what do you think as a third-party observer?
Don't make me judge you harshly.
That's always the case. I mean, that's not unique to this particular broadcast.
Hey. Paul, easy. You don't want to go back to corner, Kate, do you?
You're in the big boys now. You're on prime time. You don't want to go back to cable access, do you?
The Bush Leagues.
Yeah. Should I read your text message you sent me today about don't ever let me go on that podcast again? Please let me come on your show. What was it you wrote me?
Right. I think what I wrote you was if you don't let me share this on your show, I'll go to Michael B's channel directly, and then I got the invite. So
downgrading significantly.
So I will tell you that another thing I'm doing is I'm reaching out to people like B Kirby and telling him if he gets any information, just to tell me.
Only tell me, B Kirby. Only tell me. You guys are ridiculous. All right, we should say hi to who's here in the live chat and then get this show started proper. So if you want your shout outs, do me a favor. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ritual Delo's here moderating. Good to see you, man. Israel Gaming, upcoming YouTuber. Make sure you guys check him out on YouTube. J-Rod is here. Mr. Paradise is here. The Fat Hog is here. Chris Ford, Evan, Striker Cage, Mr. Paradise, Dennis B. What's up, Dennis? You know what? This weekend, guys, I will do a Mario Kart World live stream. I'll do it tomorrow night, Saturday. Dennis, I'm challenging you. I dare you to show up. I'm going to take your soul in Mario Kart World. It's time for P-Dubs to get his revenge. J-Rod is here. Mad Astra Gaming. Always good to see him back in the community. Wagner's Tech Talk, free of the chains of AtGames. Welcome, Wagner. You're more than welcome back on our broadcast. Sathius is here. Brooklyn Menace is here as well. We got Biggie D's Arcade. What's up, Biggie D? Good to see you. Console Kits we already said hi to. DJ Beat Reviews. Mike Hawk Hertz is here as well. Sathius is here. Vic Vicious, but no talk about Tekken. We'll talk about Tekken a little bit tonight, and all that kinds of stuff. B Kirby, where is he? There he is. There's B Kirby. Good to see you, B Kirby. And B Kirby, Mike's dead ass serious. You can only share it with us.
Yeah, I know about the previous arrangement that somebody tried to make with you. Bullshit.
Think about it this way.
Activities.
Think about it this way, B Kirby. If you give us information, not only will we not charge you for that information and also ask you for other things for free, we will say thank you and move on with our lives after receiving the information.
I don't usually say thank you for much. So.
Kyle is here. Patrick Murphy. Chris is here as well. All right, that's enough shout outs for tonight. All right, let's kind of build up to the moment. We still got folks trickling in. So Paul, let me ask you something since you're the guest tonight. Do you ever play virtual VR stuff?
I can't. No, I have too many issues with vertigo. So I'm
all right. So you're worthless. We'll see you in 20 minutes. All right. So boys,
that was rude.
Welcome to the show, buddy. Welcome to the show. All right. So for those of you who like virtual reality, one of our favorite things to do when we want to take a break from retro gaming, arcades, and pinball is to hop on, put on the VR headsets, and play some Walkabout Golf. Walkabout Golf has released dozens of courses. And lately, the courses haven't seemed that great. Like Crystal Lair that came out, for those of you who play Walkabout Golf, to me, it was awful. But Tokyo just dropped. And I got to say, the reception has been great. We played it all last night, a couple times last night. Had a blast doing it. Carl, did you get a chance to check it out yet? Because I was looking for you online. I think you were with the missus. We didn't get a chance to play Walkabout Golf with you last night.
No, I haven't. I haven't been connected to anything for a while, and I've never purchased any of the courses. So I only get to play those when I come play with you guys. So I just have the standard courses.
And Mike, you got to play the Walkabout Golf. Did anyone check out Tokyo? Let us know what you thought in the live chat. They actually added some really cool stuff, like when you're walking around the city of Tokyo. Apparently, into the real Tokyo, there's like these 3D billboards. You know what I'm talking about? Have you guys seen these? There's like a 3D billboard of a cat, and it looks really, really cool in VR that they snuck that in there. I guess that's supposedly really there in Tokyo. I have no idea.
Did you find the gaming setup where the person's got like the VR controllers thrown through the computer screen? Did you find that?
No, I did not. That's the joy. That's the joy when you walk around these courses. Is there's so many cool things to see and check out. There's so many Easter eggs and things. Jason's here. Jason played it with us last night as well. Little Alien. We had a blast doing so. MG won last night, Mike. MG crushed everybody.
I wouldn't know. I don't play with MG. I will not have anything to do with that man.
What?
Did he finally stand up? Is that how he won?
He's not multicade, Matt. Why would you say that?
And me and MG broke up. We are no longer associates.
Are you serious?
Associates? Why'd you choose that word?
We are no longer compadres.
Compadres, another interesting choice. A bad choice, but an interesting one.
Your whole life's been a bad choice. I think you should stop talking.
Spot on. That's why I'm the best judge of that film. That was harsh, Mike. That might have crossed the line a tiny bit.
So some of their courses, even though the courses are cheap, it's kind of like whenever you buy a pinball pack, and pinball packs are like $3 or $4. You know what I mean? Or at least that's what prices used to be back in the day. But whenever they release a course for like $3 or $4, very rarely do you say, don't pick this one up like I did with Crystal Lair. But this was definitely $4 well spent. Take a look. I mean, it's Tokyo. Apparently they have cats everywhere running around. So there's cats all over this course, which is funny. But if any of you like VR golf, definitely check this course out. It's super fun to play, especially when you play in a group or with your friends.
Yeah, actually, if you guys don't know what Walkabout Mini Golf is, the company that makes it is called Mighty Coconut. They actually quoted a pretty great YouTuber there the other day. So let me just bring this up on screen, P-Dubs, if you want to take yours down.
Oh,
yeah, so you can see it here, Mighty Coconut Tokyo, coming out on August 14th. If you've never played Walkabout Mini Golf, hang out, talk shit, a really stupid fun time. Hashtag or quote, Michael B. the Game Genie. Whoever that guy is, what a wonderful way to summarize the experience.
Right. Here come all the shill, affiliate, and other tinfoil hat conspiracy theories, Mike, about this segment. Thanks so much, my friend.
I am in with so many companies. You guys have no idea. Half the stuff you bought, the toilet paper you got today? It's all because of me.
Now, I genuinely, like, when I want to take a break from other ways of playing gaming, I genuinely really love playing this game with friends. I mean, we get a nice group. I think it's a group of about 20 guys or so. So,
And
I mean,
MG.
you stop it. There's about 20 guys or so, and whoever's available will hop in and play, and it's super, super fun. Paul, you got to get in on this VR stuff, man. There's all kinds of weird stuff you could do with VR. Carl will tell you. Carl, what are some of the weird things you can do with VR?
I'll have to come on Michael's show to talk about it.
We'll lose our PG-13 rating tonight, boys, if Carl lets you know what else you could do in VR. Too funny. And Nostalgia said he was going to play VR with us. Now, here's what's funny is I have never, ever seen Nostalgia play VR. And Nostalgia, this happened this week. And we invited you to play VR golf with us, and you hopped into the game, and you hopped in, and you looked confused and lost and scared. And then you said, I'll be right back. He was in the game for 3 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, we get to play with Nostalgia. This is so cool. And he said, I'll be right back. And he left for 45 minutes. We never saw him again. Mike, what happened?
He had to drive home from his family reunion.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's right.
You care to explain what happened to you, Nostalgia?
This has actually happened twice, by the way. So once I joined, this was several weeks back, and MG was there and Jason was in there. And I was like in there for, I don't even think 4 minutes. And then I was like, shit, I got to go because the dogs were doing something stupid. So I left. And then I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm not coming back on. And this last time I came in and then like within a few minutes of me like hopping in, my wife and daughter came through the front door. And I was like, okay, I got to go figure some stuff out, help them out with whatever they had. So I hopped out and then I did come back, P-Dubs. You make it sound like I didn't come back. I did come back for the last hole.
You did come back.
I did come back for 1.5 holes. It was great.
What did you finish with? You finished with like a plus 45, wasn't it?
664 or something. Something like ridiculously high because it gave me the highest stroke count on every single hole right up until the last one. So I was like, okay.
Now, are you guys finishing the whole games now? Are you getting through? I know you used to have 10. They reduced it to 8 because you can never finish a game in the past.
Oh, yeah. We'll get through a game. No problem. Yeah.
And batteries
I played Tokyo last night with 4 people, and we were done like an hour and 30 minutes. So, yeah.
4 people is no
Tokyo's easy, too. People haven't talked about this. Tokyo's a very forgiving course. Lots of high scores. Even when you fuck up, you're still not out of it. So, yeah, Tokyo is great, especially for new people coming into Walkabout Mini Golf.
You guys are ridiculous.
Well said, Paul.
Mike, I'm trying to get something set up here for Paul because Paul's going to be the star of our stream here in just a few minutes. You want to walk people through the AtGames stuff while I'm working on this?
Yeah, another big week for AtGames. Obviously, we know AtGames is in the process of catching up after their issues in July. So Thursday was a very busy day. We got the release of Supersonic Deluxe. I haven't had a chance to play that yet. I'm going to do my stream on that Saturday night. But the big one, of course, was Williams Pinball Volume 9. Came out globally on all platforms, also on MetaQuest 3, and also on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K. And so far, people have been pretty happy with it. I've seen some comments, people complaining about like the taxi back class because Gorbachev's not there, and Marilyn or the Daisy or whatever her name is, the replacement Marilyn's not there. I don't know why they changed the back class. Obviously something to do with licensing or something like that. But anyways, I think the games are amazing. I went in there thinking that Taxi would be my favorite and came out of it with an absolute love affair with Whodunit. Whodunit is fantastic.
Do you have any footage to share of these games to
Oh,
further
yeah,
the
I can do that.
conversation and get Nostalgia and Carl involved?
Yeah, because neither of them know anything like what we're talking about. I know that. Isn't that true?
It's true. In fact, I just sold my my AtGames pinball machine.
Get out
No
of town,
way.
really?
Your
Is
legend.
it behind me?
Oh yeah, look at that. Your Legends Pinball HD is gone.
It's gone.
Very interesting. And I also saw today that Galga Guy 88 is selling his Legends Pinball 4K, but he's got He's got a situation there going on.
The secondary market on that thing is wild. I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but I thought it would take me forever to sell it, and in less than 24 hours, it was gone at full asking price. Like
I had a lot of trouble trying to sell my ALP, my original ALP. A lot of trouble, but it might be the area I'm in.
Yeah, no trouble at all. I just like I even listed it for higher than I was willing to take, and like I listed it for more than I thought I would get, and the person was like, "Yeah, I'll just take it for whatever you're asking. Like, good deal, I'll take it." And I was like, "Okay, sweet." So
awesome sauce. Well, anyways, here was me last night. I played through the Williams Pinball Volume 9 on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K. Again, I mean, we know before anybody asks, these games do not perform at 4K. The resolution is, somewhere around 2K and above. But the game plays really well. There's no slowdown or anything like that. It plays like it should. The SSF kit implementation on this one's really good. I don't have anything really negative to say about any of these games. The only thing I'll throw in there, a lot of people play Pinbot, and Pinbot is an older pinball machine, so it might seem slow, it might seem more basic, but there's a lot of depth to Pinbot you're probably not noticing. Taxi is incredible, but it's hard, man. The flippers are so fast, so powerful. You're going to try to make shots, and you're just going to go straight out. It's definitely a game I struggle with where I don't nudge, so yeah, Pinball Volume 9 is a win on the AtGames Legends Pinball 4K. Works really well everywhere else, too. I love it in VR. I've been having a bunch of fun. Whodunit is definitely the star of the show. Best game in the pack.
Yeah, Carl, you like some of these games, right? These are some classic games you've played before, Pinbot and Taxi and Whodunit and all that.
Yeah. I haven't had an opportunity to play on VR yet, but I'm definitely going to get that. Hopefully, I can get that done this weekend. I really do like the Brighter Pinbot. Taxi, like Michael said, it's always been one of those games. I'm trying to think of like Fishtails for me that I just always drain.
Oh, it's a drain monster, yeah.
Yeah. So games like that frustrate me, but I always stick with them to try to get better at them. So I'm looking forward to playing this on the VR.
I will tell you guys, in Whodunit, there's a mode where you go into roulette mode, and you can bet whether or not it's going to land on red or black. And I can't tell you how many times I've lost all my points betting on that goddamn roulette, to the point where I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to skip it from now on.
That's funny. That's hilarious. All right, I think I might have it. Hold on. Speaking of which, Paul, with all this inside information you've been tracking down for us, anything about virtual pinball? Is anyone else going to jump into the world of virtual pinball that you know of or have heard of, or is AtGames the only show in town based upon
you're the resident expert, so we're expecting some juicy information.
He's the investigator. So.
I've heard zilch about pinball. And I don't know if it's because nobody would talk to me about pinball or just because I haven't asked, but I haven't heard anything.
Honestly, there's no point in pinball. I mean, AtGames is working with all the companies. Well, who's going to come in and do what? Who are they going to work with? Like, are they going to, get Farsight Studios on board? Are they going to get Zachariah on board?
Well, I think somebody building virtual pinball cabinets that you connect a PC to, and that way you can just play all these games via Pinball M, Pinball FX2, FX3.
Oh, aftermarket already has got that loaded up, third-party vendors, not so much retail.
Yeah, so, but I agree with them having the 3 big licenses. Makes it tough for someone else to jump in there.
Oh, well, My Arcade's coming in. I forgot about that. My Arcade is releasing a digital pin, remember?
My Arcade? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're using balls of steel on
Steam,
Steam,
that's right. Yeah.
Which I did a review of, and I crapped all over it. And I remember apparently they have some diehard fans, and they came into the comments section on my video and were coming at me. It's like, look, I'm just being honest. These games aren't fun. Like they came at me, and I was like, okay, relax. They act like I killed this guy's company just by saying these games aren't fun. But
it's kind of like when you're doing a video and you say something negative about like Iconic or Arcade 1-Up XL, and then Paul gets in there and he's like, ah.
Damn right. Where do you guys classify Wonderland Amusement, like what they're doing, where it's not exactly virtual? I've heard some good things about that from people in the industry that are, sort of looking at it from behind the scenes. I haven't seen it firsthand. What are your thoughts on that? Just different category, doesn't really cross over.
What do you think, Detroit Love?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's hard to judge it until it comes to market, right? I mean, it's a new concept. This smaller, more affordable pinball, real physical pinball. So they obviously are in treading in new water. So I'm hoping they're successful. I'm hoping that this thing is fun to play. I'm hoping it creates a trend where other companies are willing to look into that market, because not everybody's going to be willing to spend $6,000 to $10,000 or more on a pinball. And obviously, pinball comes with this issues, right? Things break. The steel balls flying around, hitting on things, and so how will they be able to handle those loose parts, those replacement parts? It's an interesting thing. So. I know they just recently had an update to the Kickstarter, and they started collecting the addresses, so they're getting close to apparently shipping something. So we should know soon, whether this thing is worth $1,000. So I'm excited for them.
They actually opened up sales on the Wonderland Pinball, if I'm not mistaken, again this past week.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some. If you want to be a late backer, a late backer.
Yeah, they are.
But you're only getting $50 off versus the early backers that got much better deals. But hey,
$50.
It is
$50, right? If it's something you're interested in, and you're going to buy it, and then it's like anything. Once it comes out, and definitely if it is a good product. Then you may not be able to get one if everybody grabs up the stock after the fact. So I think it's a good thing. But again, we have to wait and see what it's going to be. But obviously, it's a different market. I know Costco has been selling those $4,000 Stern home, pins, and you hear a lot of things about those. People gripe on them, people love them, but that's been the most affordable new pinball, right? That we could get access to. Wonderland is an interesting company, so it's a home pin, right? It's a home.
Yeah, we'll see how they do once these final prototypes I think might be shown in 2 months at Chicago Pinball Expo. All right, Paul, let's the natives are getting restless here. Nostalgia's about to fall asleep on us, and the live chat really wants you to spill your secrets, so I'm going to kind of let you run things. You said you got new information to provide us.
Better be good. I rolled out of bed for this shit.
I know, that's what you say every Friday night, though.
So
every Friday night.
Let's do this first. Let's talk about Unico, because when we talk about Iconic, that's going to be a long conversation. So you let me know you heard some stuff about Unico and what's going on there with Unico.
Well, yeah. So I guess the question is, so 19K Fox came out with this announcement that there are going to be at least 3 unique cabinets, all licensed products using a larger monitor. Do you hear something different, Mike?
Yeah. So they want them to be licensed, but it's not confirmed at this time. They're working on that, and even if they don't become licensed, they'll be what's the word? There'll be homages to these cabinets.
Okay.
Mike, let the man speak, okay? Stop.
Well, that's pretty much in alignment with what I'm hearing, but maybe even slightly more extreme than that, versus they want to the point of maybe have actually lost and are no longer in contention for getting those licenses that they'd hoped to get, and that whoever might have been, attempting to do something could very well have lost it. And from what I understand, part of it is based on how things have gone in the past with previous products, and some of the bumps in the road that they had in bringing those to market, and things like that, and maybe there wasn't a lot of confidence there. So apparently those licensing efforts are basically dead in the water. There may be some generic cabinets, like you said, maybe homages is a better word for that. Maybe they can do the shapes, but not having any of the art or licensing. So,
so you mean like make a? Do you mean like, for example, make like a big red looking cabinet, but
maybe
can't call it that?
It won't be red; it'd be purple.
Yeah.
They make it purple.
No, they can still do red. Like I think it's I think Vic Vicious is on the right track. I think you'll see a big red, big blue. My guess was potentially the other one would be a like Dynamo cab, because I mean that's a pretty standard arcade cab. Other people are saying that it would be a Robotron cab for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah,
You'd
and
like that.
if we're talking about sort of like the Neo Geo MVS type stuff, the Neo Geo license, I guess I don't know if it's still called SNK. I guess they kind of own that over in Saudi Arabia, where they own like 95% of that nowadays, something like that. That license is not currently with anyone. That includes Unico. So no one has that license currently. It's not being held by Unico or anyone else at this point. So if anyone was hoping, like me, for a Unico, MVS tribute, best we can hope for is a cabinet shape that's like that and kind of a DIY scenario. So that's the sort of, I guess, maybe addendum to what 19K Fox put out already. It's not necessarily saying that information was wrong. It was just maybe newer information about the licensing portion of that, not the part where he suggested it's going to be fully licensed is not happening.
Well, let me ask you a question, Paul. So, are you saying that? Of course, this is all rumors, guys.
Yeah, and things could change. Yeah, things could change.
Yeah, things can change. Nothing's official until it's official. But are you trying to say something along the lines of they tried to secure license and it just didn't work out for whatever reason, or do you think somebody else who makes arcade cabinets got the licenses?
No, I think it's more the former, that the licenses were there to be had, and
they just couldn't get it done.
They backed off based on kind of things that had happened in the past with how Unico was able or not able to deliver on certain things. In particular, it was the Nova Blast was brought up as having been an example of something that didn't go well. So yeah, I think it's just kind of there was some excitement there, and then when the reality of what they could deliver maybe became more clear, they decided it wasn't a good fit.
So, Paul, I actually have an update on what you're talking about. So thank you very much. I heard that these license holders went to the website, saw this picture, got really creeped out by this guy right here, and then just pulled tail and backed out.
There's only the guy on the right for some reason.
Hey,
nice.
He was too good looking, and it was threatening everyone.
Yeah.
So
nice.
that viewed that.
Fox is a good dude.
I think when we all heard the news that they were approaching these licenses, we all kind of took it with a grain of salt anyways, because no offense to Unico, they're great. I think what they're doing is really cool. I like the Nova Blast. I like the concept of it. I love the fact that they're making these 26-inch monitors, that they've got this passion for making arcades. Just don't think they have the financial resources to do some of the things they wanted to do. I mean, I think they were the right company to do the MVSX. I thought that was really good. But I mean, like, you look at that last handheld and other stuff. I think that handheld, if there's one thing another like company would look at, like a licensing company would look at to say, stay away from this company, it's that fucking handheld they came out with.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't come up in my conversations, but I wouldn't disagree. That handheld was pretty terrible. I mean, yeah.
It's the generic handheld you find on AliExpress, basically with.
Yeah, nothing to tie it back. There was no branding on that of any sort.
Those handhelds were really, really weird, because I remember reviewing it and I'm like, this just isn't a great handheld. And the market is oversaturated with handhelds. So if you're going to come out with a handheld in 2025, you better bring it. You know what I mean? Like, it's got to have everything that people want in a handheld. And when you release something that was cutting edge, when you release something this year that was cutting edge maybe 4 years ago, just call it a Neo Geo handheld. It's very disappointing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a disappointing experience. I don't think they sold very well for them either. I don't think.
Well, it wasn't even a Neo Geo handheld. That's the thing. It was a very specifically branded company. I can't.
Unico.
No. It was another company. I can't remember. They make like Neo Geo style games.
Oh, the SNK handheld?
No,
What the heck
no,
was
no.
the name of that thing that I reviewed? Hang on, I got too many windows open.
Yeah,
What are you
let
talking
me
about, Mike?
see if I can get the company.
Are you talking
up.
about the Visco? The Visco was a countercade.
That was a countercade. Yeah. The
No.
handheld one
There's a
was
name on the
unique.
handheld too. I'm just trying to remember it.
I think it was pretty much generic. Did they even put the Neo Geo logo on it? I don't think they even did.
It wasn't Neo Geo. That's the thing that
You're
everybody
saying it wasn't
confuses it
even
with.
supposed to be.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
called the Unico Color, and it's the IGS retro gaming handheld.
Okay.
And the company
Yeah.
is IGS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is
Yeah,
even more obscure. Nobody knows IGS.
Look, if it doesn't end up on Nostalgia's channel, it's not worth it. Ain't that right, Nostalgia?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Carl, I noticed we got a super chat a little bit ago. Do you want to handle this for us, buddy? What do we got here?
Yeah, that's B Kirby. Thank you for the $5 super chat. He says, Paul, I thought we signed a contract and an NDA with another.
Whoa.
What an absolute douchebag that guy is. He didn't do it, but the joke is that Cornercade reached out to B Kirby and said, "Now, when you get information about Basic Fun, you tell me and only me." But apparently, he didn't say that, so we've been making fun of him for no reason.
I would comment, but I'm under NDA.
Israel Gaming says Anbernick is the king of handhelds or Pow Kitty. You know what's funny is all these years, I don't think I've ever had a Pow Kitty. I've had plenty of Anbernick handhelds, but
Pow Kitty's not all that special.
Yeah.
yeah. Nostalgia, would you recommend Pow Kitty?
Not over Anbernick, no. There's like the top two in my opinion. If you're looking for like the retro gaming handheld, is Anbernick. They got lots of really good devices, and Retroid Pocket makes excellent handhelds.
So we have here, does Unico have what it takes to cut the mustard? I threw that poll in the chat real quick for you guys. 16% said yes, 46% said no, 38% said maybe. Now, what's funny is, Paul, let me ask you a question. Prior to Iconic Arcade giving us some news this week, do you think that the results of this poll, Iconic Arcade would have scored the same before this week? After 6-7 months of silence?
I mean, no. We all know we wanted more information. I think that was, everybody agreed on that. It was just a matter of whether or not it was, that you still had any faith in the company just because they were silent. In some cases, it was like, no news is good news. It's fine. We got a little bit of an update. It just had some delays. It was like, dude, this is a scam. It's been months. There's been nothing. Those are the extremes, but most of us were somewhere in the middle where it's like we'd want more, but we're not going to jump over, ledge over it. It's just not ideal. So.
Yeah, I mean, I will comment on this really quickly. I found it really interesting there were people in the community that immediately said it was a scam because they wanted John D to fail because he was involved with it. There's people like that. They're psychos. There's no other way to put it. You also have to think about what was going on in the world at the time. It's not like any other company was really talking either. You look at it, we were in this situation with the tariffs, the uncertainty. Every single company was quiet. So obviously it was a normal thing. That's another thing to take into consideration. Then, of course, we had this rumor about the cease and desist. I've never got confirmation that it's real. Cornercade said he got confirmation that it was real. But, you have to think that played into it too. So, we were all very adamant about Iconic Arcade speaking up. And I think the reason why we expected so much is because when they first announced their company, they talked about that. We were going to be a community company. We were going to engage with the community, and they did the exact opposite. So I think that if they didn't make that kind of promise, the same expectation wouldn't have been there. And we'd be looking at that in the same way we're looking at Basic Fun and Arcade 1-Up right now. obviously they're just not doing anything. We'll get information when it's time.
Well, what really made it, I think, problematic was the fact that there was a pre-order involved. If you had no pre-order, then it wouldn't be any different than Basic
Well,
Fun.
it's not like there's not pre-orders involved with New Wave toys. I mean, come on now. There's people with like $1,800 over 7 products that are waiting, right?
Sure, but they have some history. I mean, in fairness, there's something you can go back to with Iconic. It was sort of like, okay, so they're funded by Lenovo and this other company. I guess they're okay, but who knows? This is their first product that they've delivered to us that isn't something kind of crappy at your local GameStop or whatever. So it was kind of different, I think, because of that. So I think it's fair to criticize it because they took money and didn't communicate.
Yeah,
it just is what it is, and but if you don't have money put down on it, I feel like, do you really have as much to complain about? And why are you complaining so vocally? What else is driving that for you? Is it just that you're advocating for the community, or there's something else that bothers you about who's involved?
Right. And to be fair, we don't know that it's not crappy because it doesn't exist yet. But
Sure. Yeah.
Good point. Excellent point.
I think I think Paul. I know somebody that you've been questioning, 19K Fox, for example. I know 19K Fox where he's coming from on this because I'm very similar to 19K Fox. We're asking all these questions and we're animated and we want information even though we haven't pre-ordered because we still want it. Like, we want this to be good. We want this to happen. But, we use our voice and our position to try to make sure it's the best that it can be.
Yeah, I think it's just the angle that, if you're going to, talk about you two specifically that have not pre-ordered or that maybe want to but couldn't now, it's just the angle that's been taken. One has been largely sort of, doubtful, skeptical, in some cases borderline mad about it, versus sort of hopeful, expectant, kind of hoping for the best. It's just two sides of sort of that coin. And I think it's just where you personally, fall as to who you're going to gravitate toward in that messaging. And, I get both sides. It's fine.
So also with 19K Fox, I don't think people see it because they see the happy guy. There's a dark side there. There's a lot of anger under the surface. Like, if you go back and watch this is a real thing. It's a real thing. If you go back and watch his Star Wars videos, he got too angry and had to stop doing Star Wars because he just couldn't handle it. And I fear it's happening with Home Arcade.
Look,
I don't know. I might see him at a trade show and be concerned that he's going to beat me up. I hear that happen sometimes.
Look, I think content creators like Fox and all that, I gravitate to because they're a lot like me. So, for example, the reason I didn't pre-order an Iconic Arcade when all this was happening in January, February was, although I really, and I was very vocal about how much I love the look of the Street Fighter Alpha machine. I was very vocal, like, I haven't seen enough, I haven't to make me order. You know what I mean? There were so many questions unanswered, and a lot of those questions got answered this week, right? So I never pre-ordered. I was told everyone, I was like, I want to get it, but I haven't pre-ordered because I don't know anything about, how this thing's going to work, blah, blah, blah. Because they brought a prototype to CES, and then there were some renders on a website, and that was pretty much it. And after being in this community for so long, a lot of us, Paul, kind of like hold on to our money a little bit tighter than we used to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't just, because back then, anytime anything new came out, I bought it. I bought it instantly. I mean, think about it. I've owned almost every arcade one-up that came out, and there was no reason to buy every single one. So it's funny. But anyway, but also too, like up until, and then when we finally heard from them after 6-7 months of silence from Iconic Arcade, they just sent out an email doing a side art survey.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And I think it was last week on Super Game Room Dudes or the week before when this came out. And I myself said, well, still, this isn't enough. I can't get excited. Where's the machine? Where's the gameplay? Where's anything? This is it? This is as far as we've come in 7 months? So I understand when content creators make that kind of content, Paul, because, like, you've been waiting 7 months and all you get is this little nugget of information.
I mean, it's still, what's interesting to me is...
Does someone have a rubber ducky?
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, it's my dog chewing on his dog toy behind me. I'm sorry.
No problem.
So good. I thought it was Carl. But, yeah.
It's P-Dub's butt plug. He's moving around too much.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
So I kind of compare it to...
But people get mad when people react that way.
Well, I think it's just
You
sort of.
shouldn't get mad at Fox, Paul.
Yeah,
He didn't do
Paul.
anything wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. I
Be
didn't
so
do
mean to
anything
Fox,
wrong.
Paul.
Yeah, Paul. You know what? You need to hug it out with Fox.
Yeah.
Because
I'd be careful though. He
Fox
hasn't
is never
gone.
mad at me.
He hasn't gone.
What was that?
Because it only goes one way.
Oh well, Paul. Well, he needs to be nicer.
He doesn't allow me. He mentioned this week, like, well, I'm not going to talk to you about it. I'm like, I don't have a chance to talk to you about it. You won't talk to anybody that's not a super chat. So.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cold. Ooh,
Or-
damn.
Or he won't talk to anybody
Oh.
that's not in his $5 membership after show. Got to throw that one in too.
That's
Well,
true.
technically, that's true, but
That is true. One time I
Yeah.
asked Fox, I said, how'd your members only stream go? And he said, did you see it? And I said, no. He goes, PayPal me $5 and I'll tell you. No, I'm just
Give
kidding.
me.
That's a made up story.
Always
That's
about
a
the
made
money,
up
man.
story.
Honestly, Fox
Let's
is
get-
Fox is the best. Like I asked him for some pictures earlier. He sent them to me. He said, if you're down a person for Super Game Room tonight, dudes tonight,
Yeah.
reach out to me. He's a wonderful man with a dark side to him and a
I
gun
know.
in his car.
It's time for the community to heal. Ladies and gentlemen, 19K Fox coming on. Look at Paul's face. Look at Paul's face.
I'm ready. That'd be great.
I'm kidding.
I think he's great. I've watched his,
All right.
I've watched his show for years. I don't always comment, but
All right.
no, I think.
Well,
I
since
think he's
we've
great.
done a good pivot going from Unico to Iconic here, Paul, what is the new Unico news? And then like, I'm pretty sure everyone knows the information that came out this week. We'll talk about that after. But what is the new information? Like
On
that you wanted to
Iconic, yeah.
that you wanted to come on the show and relay personally to these people. First off, I have to ask you, what is your relationship with Iconic Arcade?
Are you guys going steady? Just dating a little bit?
We have to do our disclaimers, Paul.
Engagements?
Yeah, we've been out on a few dates. It's getting serious. Yeah, I'm going to talk to her father soon, I think.
Has there been any heavy petting?
I mean, well, some things have to stay between us, but
But are you
All right.
employed by them in any way or anything of that nature?
no,
Okay.
of course not. But
You're just a super fan.
I'm a super fan that has gotten closer to a couple of contacts that are directly related to things that they do. One on the retail side, one on the development side. So
I look
one
forward
knows-
to ending those friendships tonight with these news reveals,
Right.
Paul. It better be juicy.
But when these sources align, then that tends to give me some confidence that there's whatever. It's something there. So
All right,
one thing I did want to mention, though, honestly, before Iconic, not to screw up your animation there, but
we pivoted.
I know, but
Let's
since
go.
Iconic will take the longest,
All right,
I'm gonna
wait,
knock
what,
out the
what?
short stuff first. There was
What?
another little tidbit that I heard that kind of confirms what a lot of us have thought already, and this concerns actually Arcade 1-Up and whether or not they're going to have an XL this year at all, or specifically at Costco. And Mike, you and I have been saying for a while, doesn't seem too likely. Nobody's hearing about that. So I tried to ask some more specific questions around that. And what I'm hearing back is basically, yeah, there's not going to be an Arcade 1-Up XL at Costco. And the relationship was at Costco's preference, not Arcade 1-Ups, which is kind of a given. We sort of knew that. What seems to be the case, and this is again what we've been speculating, is that if anything, Costco is forming a relationship with Basic Fun, and we might see the WrestleFest XL or Supreme, as they call it, as this year's Costco XL something.
And this is brand new information that no one else has heard yet.
It's been speculated, but this is leaning a little further in that speculation, with not just coming from the community, but coming from outside the community, to say that there might be something to that. So
Yeah, Paul, I got some more bad news for you, and this is something I've said before, but talking to one Canadian retailer, I'm always going to push that. Any word on XL? I was told almost 2 years ago now, they had the conversation around the XL, and Arcade 1-Up pretty much told the retailer XL is dead. So I took it at that time to be like, oh, well, it just means that it's locked behind a partnership with Costco. But more and more I'm looking at this, I'm thinking that the company just doesn't have any confidence in the line.
Well, it's that, and I think they don't have the budget to pursue development of an XL title. They would need design, packaging, shipping, all that stuff. I just don't think they have resources to do it.
It's not that hard to do that stuff. It's easy.
Interesting.
Just hire somebody on Fiverr.
So let's say, let's get live chat. Let's get you guys woken up a bit. Get those fingers moving in the live chat. If the Costco machine this year, because they are going to have some sort of arcade machine during this holiday season, if it ends up being a Basic Fun branded machine and possibly the XL or Supreme sized WrestleFest, does that excite you guys? Does that interest you? Let us know in the live chat so I can get your comments on the screen. Carl, would you be interested in a WrestleFest from Costco?
His wife's not letting him bring anything into the house.
We talked about this. You sneak it in. This old thing.
I can get something if I sell something, so that's not an issue there. But no, I haven't been a fan of a whole lot of wrestling. I've only like the wrestling that we're in, and I haven't played that since the four of us played it,
Yeah.
It's just a tough game. But no, I grew up with the era with the Hulk Hogan and those guys, the Rock and that stuff. That's not my generation. That's probably starting generation wrestling. But I like wrestling. I was never in the camp that wrestling is real or fake. It didn't really matter. It was entertainment. But in the arcade games, it's just not something that I have a passion for. You know what I mean?
You want to see someone get on Paul's nerves? Watch this. I love WrestleFest. I think it's an amazing title. I think it's a massive mistake that they're not doing online. Watch what happens. It's going to turn Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on me.
Oh, don't get me started. Online. Oh, what a waste of money.
Oh man, the Arcade 1-Up online servers are so dead. It's crazy now. Like every time I go on, like nobody's playing shit. Like as much as I think online's so important, like for updates, other things like that, I can understand not investing in it because it's empty. No one's doing anything with it.
Except, updates and leaderboards. Okay, that's cool. But that's minimal investment. But the whole online infrastructure for actual net code and all that stuff, that's just like, that's not cheap. I don't see why they spend money on that.
I think one of their big failures with online with Arcade 1-Up is not including some kind of voice chat. I think Arcade 1-Up's online whole structure would have been a lot more successful if I could jump on there, play a game with Nostalgia, and then shit talk him while playing.
Could we do all of that except for the play game part?
You don't like playing online with people?
I just want to get online and shit talk Nostalgia.
What do you think the Super Game Room Dudes episodes are? That's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. It's an hour and 15 minutes of just shit talking me.
That's all it is. Some weeks we spend an hour just arguing with each other, and what's funny too is we end the stream and people are like, "Oh my god, those guys hate each other," and we're all laughing the minute we hit the end button. Like, dude, that was great.
I laugh so I don't cry.
Guys, it's all a shtick. Trust me. This is a
Me and Nostalgia are actually best of friends. We're meeting up in September in Toronto. We're going to a wrestling pay-per-view together. We're going to sleep head to toe in the same bed. I'm going to, we're going to share the bed head to toe. Nothing weird's going to happen. If we get closer in the middle of the night, and, one thing leads to another. But
that's not weird, though.
It's not weird. Don't make it weird.
It's normal.
So far the two of the main takeaways from tonight from Paul here is the rumors are strong that Unico was not able to secure licenses for their planned releases this year, so expect homage cabinets to be made. Basic Fun is getting the Costco contract, and what else new can you tell me about Unico?
Well, not much about Unico.
Iconic. I mean iconic.
Yeah. I'll also say if someone did not hear this, Basic Fun apparently also does not have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle license that they had hoped to have.
Basic Fun doesn't have TMNT. Didn't they put that in their marketing and their podcast interviews and all that?
Yeah, they sort of endangered the relationships there with Konami and Paramount, and may have lost that completely. So that's, it's also a little bit rumor and speculation, but the source is one that would know. So I'll take it for what it's worth.
Wow.
Now, only a few weeks ago, I'd heard the opposite. I'd heard that it was from a retailer that it was planned for early next year, originally this year, but got pushed to early next year. But the more recent source said, yeah, it's not happening. They may burn those bridges. So I wouldn't hold out hope for
some of these. Yeah, some of these licensors, man, they with their IPs, they get pissed when stuff gets revealed without their permission, right?
Yeah, and in fact, going even further, I've heard, and take this for what it is, I saw one of the comments saying, like, Basic Fun is the new king of this sort of mid-market product. I don't even know about that. What I've been hearing is that they're going to have a core set of titles and basically follow the arcade one-up model. They're just going to keep recycling those same titles in different form factors year over year. So the issue is who holds the licenses. And if you know the category, there are a couple key people involved in the licenses. And if you know who they work with, you can sort of figure out who's going to get what license. And right now,
yeah, but that's if you listen to that guy and he tells you that he's the king of licenses.
Sure.
You know what I mean? You're listening to him and he's like, hey, if anybody can get it, it's me. And you're like, sure. Okay, way to go, Lanny Poffo.
Well, but if you look at what's happened when that person's been with those companies, you have to say 80% accurate. When that person was with Arcade One Up, they had the licenses.
You know what else?
But Cyrus is still with Arcade One Up, though.
Well,
it's not just relationships. It's not just relationships are probably the biggest, most important factor.
Sure, money talks.
In a deal getting something done.
Right.
But it comes down to money. Like, everyone for years was running around saying, like, for example, AtGames could never get licenses like Midway or others, and all they had to do was write the check, and they could get those licenses. I remember back when I used to talk to PK, he told me I could get Midway. I just got to give him $1 million, and I don't want to because everyone can play the games for free. Why should I charge people, right?
But that's also the problem.
Something of that nature.
You've got iArcade out there giving $500,000 to Sega, setting a precedent, and now everybody wants $500,000 for the crap IP that nobody cares about. So, at that point, when the money isn't there, then it does become more about relationships. And hey, how can we do this together to come up with a mutually beneficial situation? You get some, revenue sharing, whatever it is, points, manage it.
Your co-host under NDA says TMNT might still be viable. What's going on there, man?
I don't know.
Paul, did you come on?
Gary Horowitz thinks fictitious.
Okay, Paul. So what else do you got?
So no. Just really quickly about Basic Fun. If Paul, what you're hearing about, we know there's two Supremes that they're going to be trying to put out this year. Right. So is the idea that the other one's going to be at Sam's Club? Like, is it an exclusive per store?
Probably Sam's or BJ's. Yeah. I've heard they're only club stores. So,
it's disappointing, very much hearing this, because I think all of us speak for, the XL line. We want more than one. Like, that was the exciting thing about Basic Fun coming out, is it seemed like they were going to offer XLs for everything they were doing. And you were just like, oh, this is amazing. But the more and more I've looked at this, and I've said this early, I don't know why. I think Basic Fun, it's cool. It's cool that there's another option out there that are going to challenge. But of all the companies coming out here, Basic Fun's just going to be another version of Arcade One-Up. Like, it's just rinse and repeat. Same thing again. Nothing's really going to change. The only thing is, honestly, I'm going to say this, and people will probably be surprised. It's going to be a shittier version of Arcade One-Up. You look at it already. That Ultra line is garbage compared to the deluxe cabs. They don't even have coin doors. These are, downscaled cabinets with less features for the same amount of money.
Why are you so mad, Mike?
I've heard they're going to be.
It's the truth.
Comparable. I don't know. Missing coin door would be, that'd be a bad thing. I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that there's more than what we've seen, more than what competitors are certainly willing to tell us about that situation. I'm hoping, turtles and everything else is a short-term bump. They just not to get over it, and they'll secure some other stuff. So who knows? We'll know for sure when we see it. But as of right now, I'm kind of in the same boat. I've lost some excitement there.
So what can you tell me about Iconic Arcade? What is the new information that no one has heard yet?
Sure, yeah. It's not like one big, huge thing. There are a number of small things, which has been the way all week. So we'll just go right through it. So the first thing is some people asked about the depth. We had a whole conversation last night about how deep are these cabinets. We know they're wider. They're slightly taller overall. The decks are wider, obviously. What about the depth? Because, you've got the Slim Cadies with Arcade 1-Up that are getting only shorter. What's going on with that? So what I can say is we know for sure now that they're 28 inches deep, including the deck. So that measures exactly on par with, for example, your golden tees that Arcade 1-Up did for the XL size. That's exactly 28 inches front to back if you measure it from the start of the front of the deck. So exactly on par with that depth-wise. So that's probably a relief for some people, because I think they didn't want something that was excessively going to be sticking out in the room or requiring to pull everything else forward, or some other weird situation. So I think that's a good thing, minor but kind of important. There's going to be some new imagery coming out soon. I've asked for, some people had questions about, in particular, the Alpha 2 deck artwork, because that changed to become more like the original Alpha 2 cabinets, which, honestly, I don't know that many of us had seen them in real life. But it's kind of got this grainy, I don't know if it's supposed to be like granite or it's almost more like asphalt. I don't know what it is, but it's not the diamond plate that we saw before. So some folks aren't thrilled about that. There's some other details on this particular render that are odd. It almost looks like it's a flat deck instead of being angled. That is not the case. The original shape that we saw and that was shown in the prototype, is remaining. It's not being flattened or some other odd shape. So I've asked for additional imagery. Those should be coming soon, so we can get a better look. And I don't know who, maybe Mike will get that before I do. I don't know. But in any case, it should be coming soon, so we can get a better sense of that.
So the control panel will be slanted, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, it'll be slanted. Yeah. And I think the look will be a little bit better. Again, this is a render. It's, they're doing their best to replicate something that existed, 40 years ago. So it's probably not going to be what the final thing looks like.
Keep going.
I know this is authentic, but at the same time, it's funny. It's like remember those cheap, when you go to the movie rental stores, they'd rent out like your NES games in like these cheap cartridge boxes, and they'd have this generic like Action Man on the front with like buttons in the game. That's kind of what the controls remind me of, like the control instructions on those cases.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I thought Danny had an interesting comment. He said it looks like a Darkstalkers control deck.
No, he's a full-on idiot. I don't know why you listen to Paul. Anything that comes out of his mouth is not anything valuable.
All right, yeah, moving on.
All right. What else you got, Paul? What else?
Okay.
What else is juicy? Come on, man.
We know that. We now know that they are going to be producing around 6,000 of these Street Fighter II cabinets. I'm assuming that's a combined total. I'm assuming it's not per unit, but for perspective, we've heard before that anything over about 1,500 when you were Arcade 1-Up, years ago, was considered sort of like a break even. Like you had to produce at least that many to recoup your costs.
Right.
Whereas if you got the whole way up to maybe say like the 13,000 Pac-Man XLs that they sold at Costco, that was almost unbelievable. That was like, wow, that's a crazy amount. That's really high up there, at least for that price point. So for them to be producing 6,000 of a cabinet at this price point, and basically only doing it online, not doing it through a major retailer of any kind, I would say that's a pretty strong initial showing. So I think that bodes well for the interest in the community. even with all the sort of concern and people that sort of held out to say, well, I'm not quite sure I'm ready to pre-order yet. I haven't seen enough. So, to not have a major retailer and be coming in at 6,000 units right out of the gate, I think that's a respectable
Well,
number.
let me throw this to Detroit Love here because he's my conscience, he's my logic, he's my voice of reason whenever I'm panicking. Carl, with the amount of times we've seen Street Fighter arcades being released from Arcade One Up in the past, I mean, they've built tens of thousands if you add up all the runs of Street Fighter they did, and it's very different various form factors. Do you think there's enough interest in this community, Carl, for 6,000 iconic arcade Street Fighters? And what about you guys in the chat? Is there 6,000 willing to buy it?
Well, $6,000. What? That's like $4.2 million they're hoping to get.
He just did that in his head. That's why I love him.
That math is not correct.
Yeah,
He's like, carry the one.
that's $699 if that's the price, right? 6,000. But anyway, my take on Iconic Arcade is interesting because it's basically what we used to buy an arcade one up for and make, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put a pie in it, right? We add our games. We added a coin door. We did all these things to it. So I think there's definitely interest in people wanting to have just that aspect of it. And then if you're talking about a bigger screen, right? It's 19-inch screen, right? It's taller. It looks closer to a real arcade compared to the arcade one up without the riser and all that stuff, right? It doesn't have the split where you sit on the riser. So I think this is a very attractive item for anybody that's interested in having a multi-cade because it's a multi-cade. So for 6,000 though, I don't know. That's a tough though.
I think there's Street Fighter fatigue. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with Street Fighter fatigue because there's still a lot of people who haven't ever heard of Arcade One Up, don't know these people either. But I think without retail presence, I think that's just how do you get that word out to these 6,000 people?
Well, when they initially announced it, there was actually, I think he was on your show, Michael. Kevin Rohr had talked about how much interest and excitement there was, like he had never seen in the category. This is the guy from Spreetail, and he didn't have numbers that he could share, but this doesn't really surprise me that much, especially given you've seen all the surveys that I constantly post up there about like how many people are waiting for XLs. There's a lot of people. Like if we have 50,000 people on Reddit that are like Arcade One Up fans, these are the self-identified people that go on there and talk about this crap. How many of those are interested in XLs? Probably a fairly decent amount. 3/4 of them said that they are. Now take a smaller subset of that actually purchased something. Right. I don't think 5,000 or 6,000 is that out of the realm of possibility. Like, it's not necessarily like a huge number. If they said 50,000, I'd be like, that might be a little optimistic.
So,
yeah, but interest level is one thing. Purchasing is a totally different thing. Sure. You take any retail, online retail, you got to get a lot of clicks before those clicks turns to purchases. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be the interest. I'm going to look at it. I'm interested in it, but to get people to buy it is interesting. And like I said, I think retail is important for people to be able to see this because you have to get that word out. And you have to get people to buy something never having touched and seen it is a very difficult thing for something like this. But again, we know people have been buying arcades, cabinets of different prices and different sizes over the years, sight unseen. So it's not unreal that they would buy this. I think it's still just a challenge without. I
see. It's just me. This is just my opinion. We're all sharing opinions. I see 6,000 people buying a WrestleFest because it's new. It's WWF. Yeah. I just see that happening. I see interest where 6,000 can sell. Street Fighter, like when they, Mike, don't you remember, Mike, when John D and Media One Up announced an Iconic Arcade, all announced Street Fighter. How many of us went again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember streams where you said that along with me, Mike, where we were like, Street Fighter again? Like, we were really hoping they would kick off with something different.
Yeah, and
now,
I
let's
think
say Iconic Arcade makes Double Dragon, as much as I don't like the game. But let's say they make Double Dragon, but they also add like 20 games on there and of various types, different games, like arcade and shooters and, side scrollers and whatever. Like they just do what they're doing with the Capcom cab here. I could see Iconic Arcade selling 6,000 Double Dragon cabs. I could see that because it's like what you call the new hotness. You know what I mean? Like I don't know about Street Fighter. Just seems
it's because of the form factor. It's purely the form factor. If you think
it's just the XL size is enough to make people buy this?
Another Street Fighter Deluxe or 3/4, a big shrug and a sigh. Who cares? We've been there, done that. And XL, we haven't been there.
So trying to make sense of this, none of us have any fucking clue how many of these cabinets are going to sell. What's a good number? We can all say we do. It's bullshit. But if you want to take comparables and try to put it next to each other, another Pac-Man. Come on, another Pac-Man. Yet Costco went and bought 13,000 of these Pac-Mans, and they did put some on clearance, but you have to think, not the majority went on clearance. So they sold probably around 70 to 80% of those Pac-Mans at retail. So if they can do that with Pac-Man, which is a title that's been over and over and over and over again, there is a good precedent for Street Fighter to do the same. The only problem is it doesn't have that Costco awareness and push.
But it wasn't at every Costco store even. So
yeah, that's true too.
It was a limited number. And Street Fighter, if there's going to be any title other than maybe Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter is the one that has some sort of awareness in the general community. Again, not counting like Pac-Man or some of those like maybe Cuba or Tetris, like titles that everybody knows. Among fighting titles, Street Fighter is probably the most known. So if for no other reason than somebody says, oh, I want to have one cabinet that's my fighting cabinet or whatever, that you can make a reasonable case that could be the one. But to keep the conversation moving, the other part I do want to mention too is that I've heard that in the future they're going to also consider doing smaller production runs. So we're talking about like 3,000 unit runs, something like that perhaps. Or in special cases, they may even do something that's more like a special drop, if you want to call it that, for lack of a better term, that might only be 500 to 1,000 units. So that's a slightly different model. So I think we need to maybe remove ourselves from the arcade one-up retail sort of situation and think about more of a specialty retailer or a brand.
But all these numbers are still coming directly from Arcade 1-Up because it's based on the sales numbers John did at Arcade 1-Up. 3,000 was the magic number to make their nut.
Sure.
So we're talking about 6,000 cabs right now. That's 3,000 of each, which is what a production run from Arcade 1-Up would be. Doing a 3,000 production run is the normal, again, to make your nut. But you also then have to assume that they have lower overhead than what Arcade 1-Up had. So, that also factors into the new cost effectiveness. And then for that smaller unit with 500, what does that fucking remind you of? Killer Instinct Pro, which is another example of what they did at Arcade 1-Up. So saying these are new ideas is ridiculous. They're just ideas that are just farmed out from that person's time at Arcade 1-Up.
I mean, I guess the retail model is completely different, though. They've never
you're not wrong, but the production model is 100% based on that experience.
Oh, sure. But can you blame them? I mean, it's efficient,
Arcade
right?
1-Up did some direct, right? Like, wasn't Dragon's Lair like direct? Like
Ish.
from Arcade?
Ish.
I don't remember. Was Dragon's Lair in any retailers, guys? I think it was
Canada.
Online. I mean, if you're talking about like multiple online outlets, and but close. Yeah, you're right. I mean, KI Pro was certainly a more direct model.
500 units.
Give me the juice, Paul. Give me something else. Come on.
Oh, what else we got? Let me see here. I'm looking through a couple of notes that I took. Let's talk about maybe like future sort of things, because that's gotten a lot of
Tekken XL.
No,
I don't know, Paul. Like a lot of it sounds like pie in the sky stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're going to do this
Yeah.
production run, this production. We have to get through this first production run. You know what I mean? Of this. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, I will tell you this: if it wasn't for the fact that we had this slowdown because of whatever issues that can't be named and or problems getting production up to speed, whatever it was, we would probably be into our second title already. That's basically what I've already heard. So yeah, I mean, we're speculating, but we're also sort of like, yeah, this would have happened if other things couldn't have.
I wonder who that really is. That is definitely somebody in a fake account. Tekken XL. Mike will still find a way to hate it. I don't want a Tekken XL at all. Actually,
the pie in the sky stuff is kind of fun, but also, what have you heard? And make it juicy. What are we?
Double Dragon is official. That's happening.
Double Dragon's happening.
I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen. But that also begs the question. We've heard, well, okay, so they have this powerful hardware, Pi 5, maybe Pi 6 in the future. So they're going to do stuff that nobody else can do. But then we're also hearing Double Dragon. So how does that? I mean, Double Dragon you can run on whatever your watch. It's a really simple game.
Not necessarily, because there is some finesse to the emulation where you have to match the slowdown from the actual arcade. You can't just fucking throw the ROM on anything, right?
Okay, fair enough. But point being, you could run that on any competitor's hardware. If it's reasonably well optimized, you could run it on an Arcade 1-Up board. Or a Basic Fun board.
That's not a hardware issue. It's an emulation issue.
Sure, and again, yeah. So like I said, if it's reasonably well optimized, you could do that. But the point is, those that type of game, does that fit with the model of we've got the hardware to do stuff that nobody else can do?
See, and this is where Iconic Arcade loses me, because
you're an '80s guy.
I'm an '80s guy. I want '80s games. I want '80s stuff, and like. A lot of times, like when John talks about like his passion, what he wants to bring forward, I'm just like, me and you are on two different wavelengths, pal. Because I know what John wants to do: fighting games, and he wants to do modern, powerful games.
Yes and no. So I've been asking about this specifically because I'm on the other side of that. I want more '90s. I want the Namcos and whatever. So I'm asking about that partly for selfish reasons, but also because titles like Double Dragon don't seem to fit that model. So what I'm hearing is it's not going to be just the more powerful stuff. It's going to be stuff that fans want. This is going to be a fan-centric model because this is the audience that they're targeting. They're not targeting the mass market.
You know what this means, don't you?
Don't say Hubert.
Guys, no. The Bearsis arcade. Y'all want it. It's happening. We're going to get Bearsis.
I've heard it's a banger.
I heard there was a sequel to Dono Dono. So we finally get Dono Dono and Dono Dono sequel.
All right.
All right. We've talked about games like, so recently we talked about Resident Evil in some circles. We've that's sort of come up here and there, stuff like that. Okay. But Resident Evil has its own problems, like the guns are kind of unique. There's cost.
Are you talking about House of the Dead?
No, I'll get to that. Resident Evil. That came up in a discussion recently. So, point being, that may not be too realistic because there are costs involved in that beyond just like emulation, but there are costs in creating a cabinet that can replicate that in terms of like custom hardware, things like that. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of hope in that discussion. What you could talk about are other things, that might be, like still things that could run on a Pi 5. So I wouldn't totally shut down, House of the Dead necessarily. Supposedly the emulation challenges are overblown. That may not be the situation. I asked about titles that are, that I love, like Power Stone. That could totally be done, but in the case of Power Stone, that was recently out on the Capcom Fighting Collection, which means it's now not available for this kind of application until something like 2017. So that kind of puts that maybe on the back burner. But there's other.
Do you mean
things,
2027? Like, or do you mean we have to go back in time and that's when it's available?
Back in time to go forward. 2027. Sorry. Before that could be done, just because of the timing of that license, not because they couldn't do it. In fact, from what I'm hearing, it was originally slated to be on this current collection with these other games, but because it dropped in the Capcom Fighting Collection first, they had to yank it out. So that's the reality of what some of these licenses that we really want are facing. Is it, are they showing up somewhere else? Are there other issues tying them down? That all plays into that. But there are other rumors that persist about things like Star Wars Arcade Trilogy, which this hardware can supposedly run. You got the 50th anniversary of Star Wars coming up in a couple of years. If any company could do it and they're fan oriented, that'd be a good bet, I would say.
Listen, John may be very good at licensing, but the costs associated with that and then the ROI that's involved, they would have to, turn around a guarantee of maybe 10 to 20,000 units. Can they take on something like that?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
Like, I'm just being practical here now. I mean, it's fun to throw these things out, but there's some realistic things you have to attach to those. How much it costs licensing wise. That they don't pay that money up front. It's all about on guaranteed return sales. They're not using a merchandising model. So what's the ROI going to be? How many units do they have to sell to make that a reality? And, I don't know unless this company becomes a massive success if they can turn around and do that. So I think that 100% they can have the conversation, but can they make the promise to actually entice these companies to work with them?
Yeah, I don't know. See if they can work their magic.
Cyan Spirit says, not trying to be negative. I want everyone to get what they want, but I think everyone has different wants or needs. Yeah. All right, we are cutting it close on time here, Paul. So is there any other quick hitters you can give us, new information that you wanted to share?
I think the one thing that counters some of these arguments is the fact that we've got Lenovo backing this. And there's resources there. So don't look at it as this is a sort of a tastemaker's size company. This is backed by a heavy hitter, and that carries weight, and that's something that I've been told directly. So I'll leave it at that.
So I'm going to throw a couple flies in the ointment. I like Iconic Arcade. I want them to be successful. Hell, I hope the pre-orders open back up. I'm full in. I'm going to buy one of these cabs, which Nostalgia and 19K Fox live on the show will try to talk me out of doing last time they came open. So there's a couple things I do want to talk about from the news that came out this week that I think pre-order holders it should be a little, and we can't gloss over the stuff we have to talk about it. One, of course, is that when these pre-orders went out, we were told this was going to be a 19-inch BOE monitor. Now, this is going to be obviously a 16:9 monitor now covered up by a bezel, so we're getting a little bit more usable space, but that's a change from the original concept. And while there's a proof of concept out there with the double dragon cab, that's something people can be a little irritated with. That's a big component that's changed there now. And also they keep saying, well, the price may go up. This is a company that's owned by Lenovo, now using a Lenovo screen. They got some kind of fucking discount on that, and we know 16:9 inch screens are cheaper than 4x3s. So, I'm looking at this as a pre-order holder. I'm like, whoa. You got a cheaper screen in this motherfucker. So you want to keep that in mind. Then the second thing that came up, I know it could be better quality.
Yeah, that's the counter.
Cheaper doesn't mean worse.
Cheaper cost to them, but quality-wise, not worse.
But we don't know that. We don't we need to see that.
You don't know that it is.
Yeah. That's what I mean. We don't know what it is. Quantity.
It's
based on something they knew, which is the 19-inch BOE. The other thing that has to be brought up, when this was advertised, as soon as people heard Pi, everybody said, well, we're going to be able to add our own games. We found out this week that's not the case. Now, Iconic never promised we would add our own games, but they didn't tell us we couldn't. You know what I mean? When it was brought up. So how do people feel about that now with pre-orders, thinking that this was going to be an all-in-one multicade, now finding that the Pi is going to be locked down, that they can't do that?
But
Who thought that the Pi wouldn't be locked down?
That was
Everybody.
That
Then
was
everyone's
something
stupid.
that- Yeah, you can't blame that on them. They never
That's-
said.
I'm
That's a
not
dumb
blaming it
thing.
on them, but no one initially came out and said,
Well, Nostalgia, I think a lot of people were hoping that whatever encryption they were going to use with their software and emulation, you would still be able to hot swap the SD cards, right? But it looks like they're not even going the SD card route. So
Right.
So you swap
you'll-
the Pi 5 for another Pi 5 that you
So
have
you
sitting in
so
your app.
you could still hot swap and do the mod by just swapping in a Pi, but now you have to, instead of spending $25 on an SD card on Amazon and an hour of using Belina Etcher and flashing an image on it, instead of doing that, now you're going to have to spend $150 on a Pi 5, which I've spent way more money modding my arcades than that in the past. So to me, it's no big deal, but to the casual person, they might be like, oh man, I got to buy a whole new Pi 5. Oh my God. So,
But that all
Yeah.
came out because of that was nothing that Iconic ever promised. And just because they didn't blatantly say, you can't do this and you can't do that, to counter everything that a community member might possibly want to do in the future seems a little unreasonable to me. Like, I get that we might have speculated that you could do that, but that was our...
oh, come on.
Yeah,
John
yeah.
John was on my show, and he talked about the use of the Pi 5, and he said the one thing that people are going to be upset about was with the size and the memory. And why would people be upset about that? Because of how much shit they could put on it. They knew. And I understand that obviously this is a licensed product. They can't leave it open-ended. But I'm telling you right now, there's going to be people in the community that are upset about that.
I still think it'll get
find
hacked.
a way around.
Oh, yeah,
whatever.
it'll totally get hacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
anything else? Anything else juicy for us that you're hearing, Paul? Because my apologies, everyone. I have to get running here. So, anything else juicy you got
Yeah,
for
we
us?
can wrap it up for tonight.
All right. Very interesting thoughts and discussions from this community sleuth, Paul. Here, guys. You definitely want to let us know what you think about this on replay in the comments after the video's over. Appreciate you coming on and giving us your thoughts. Again, everything is rumor until it's official, so don't
Absolutely,
even think about filing any litigation against
Except for
Super
Tekken.
Game Room dudes.
Tekken XXL is happening.
Oh, we confirmed that early on. Yeah,
That's confirmed. Tekken XXL.
Danny confirmed it firsthand. I heard.
Yeah.
Oh,
Talk about the other. You didn't talk about the other ones. There were some retro games mentioned as well. One of which was Pole Position, which I found really interesting. I thought that was a very good title. But you know what the weird thing is? When you're talking about the racers, that's where you want to go to the 90s. Like, honestly, if they want to make a move here in the racing category, there's three titles. There's three titles that you focus on: Daytona and like the Sega Rally Series. You focus on
Maybe Crazy Taxi in there.
you can't do fuck Crazy Taxi. You can't do Cruising.
So wrong.
You can't do Cruising because of the
Crazy Taxi,
Nintendo.
right.
So if you can't do Cruising, obviously you're going to look at Rush and Cruising's the other one. So I mean, they've got to come out and either do Sega, either Daytona or Rally, Cruising, which they're probably not going to get, or Rush. They got to do the Rush series. That's my advice. I think Pole Position is incredible, but do
I
one of
think
those.
Crazy
Sega
Taxi's better.
is. I mean, when you think about who worked at Sega for at least a year, we know who that was, and that's who's working with Iconic right now. So I'd say that's in the wheelhouse. Definitely possible. But I agree. Old games like Pole Position have a lot of nostalgia. I mean, I remember the place I used to work had a Pole Position right behind me, and I'd hear that same "prepare to qualify" every day, over and over and over, and that still does something for me. But playing the game itself doesn't play well. There's no replay value there.
You've never played Pole Position on the My Arcade.
My Arcade.
It's fucking awesome.
It
It's
is awesome.
phenomenal.
I'll say it right now. Do Daytona or else.
And on that point,
it's got to be something from the 90s.
Go ahead,
My
Carl.
Arcade, the My Arcade is a perfect platform for Pole Position.
Yeah.
To have a bigger cabinet, then I think you want to have the bigger players, the bigger games.
I'm 100% sure this is John D. This is John D's alias. I keep reading these comments and I'm like, it's fucking John D. I'm sure of it.
Well, either way, I think we've hit our time limit tonight, so I appreciate everyone tuning in. Interesting thoughts and discussion from tonight, so I appreciate hearing them. I'm going to digest them and see how we feel. Do us a favor, guys. If you enjoyed the stream, give us a thumbs up on the way out. Leave your comments, feedback, reactions below. Thank you for subscribing. Carl, whenever you're ready, send these people on their way. Everyone, have an amazing weekend.
Paul, I want to say, hey, thanks for coming on. This is my first time getting to actually meet you.
Great to meet you. Thank you.
And then I also want to say about the pie in the iconic, clearly they know that's the direction people would be thinking. No doubt about that. But guys, we appreciate you coming on and tuning in to the Super Game Room Dudes. We love you, appreciate you. And until next time, we'll see you on the web.